Another great example here, goofy footer, Miguel Pupo up against Julian. Maybe a slight edge here for Julian, leaning on his heels to, for that famous carve he has running.
And actually getting a win over Miguel in this same round down there in Victoria. And Julian getting things started during the break.
Yeah, so right away you can see Julian scratching in, and that's so difficult for these guys. With this offshore wind, it just basically pelts you with water in your eyeballs. You got that morning sun. So kind of a panicky start, but as soon as you get going, you kind of wipe the bangs back that Julian does and start leaning on that rail. Wow, so that was a 5.27 right there. Really nice second turn. For sure the judges, most of those points from that second hack right before the rock. And again, Ron, surgeon's table is in play.
Looking really fired up to get a big result. And here he goes once again, live action, that first turn. Extremely strong, that wave slowing up now. Julian sticking with it. Looking for more here. There won't be a lot of points on offer. He's going to kick out.
And he really wanted to get one more move in because he knows that he let go of a really solid carve on the outside. So
to Western Australia must be one of those for you. I mean, the camping trip that you had with Andy Irons at Nalu, just how special is this place to you?
Yeah, it's amazing. I really enjoy this place, and it's so pure and so real. It really is. I don't know, you feel really from nature down here, and I really love that aspect of it. Even the waves, they just feel like they've travelled so far to get here, and it's just enjoyable. I really like it.
But like I said before, I kind of like it. It just puts this specific type of surfing on display. How well can you cut through the water? You don't have the luxury of going for tail slides and airs, so it's a really cool brand to kind of re-engage with as a fan. As we see Miguel Pupo get disengaged, actually coming off his board there on that last maneuver, so it's a very slow start. And Julian has a very low center of gravity, and I really like that again for his backhand. A lot of the guys that have a little bit of a wider stance on their backhand, they have such a cool kind of different look to it. They get so low, they can kind of get that tail kicked out. That first turn was really nice from Julian.
In one of his last CT events here at Margaret River, surfing at home against Nat Young in Heat 4, as Miguel takes off once again here in Heat 3. Strong first turn, really whipping the board through the lip of the wave. But that's all he's going to get out of that ride. Well, just over 15 minutes to go. Julian Wilson holding on a priority out here at the moment and having a look at a wave now. And there's that positioning under the lip. Doesn't get caught up in the spray at the start. Plants a good floater and into a full rail carve. It gets a foam climb wrong on the inside, but the majority of points have been juiced out of that wave.
And something we haven't talked a whole lot about is Jake Patterson is his coach for the entire year, but what's really heavy and great for Julian to have Jake in his corner. Jake is from here, and he knows this wave arguably better than anyone on the planet. So I think to have that extra bit of information, all the nuances on the reef, where to catch the waves, Julian, that is a serious man carve right there. Really ripped through that turn. A lot of pressure on that deck of a board, so I like that. That's two big moves for Julian. This should be the best score of the heat. But again, it is somewhat of a wave catching contest. You got to put yourself in the right spot, and I think Jake Patterson's going to be giving him all the key info.
And he'll be traveling with Julian throughout the year, helping him put together strong game plans for his heats. As we see Miguel up once again. This wave a little slow. Miguel frustrated that he used up priority on that ride. Just under 14 minutes to go. Performance level from Julian in this event as a result. Here we go. This is Wilson. Nice wave. Silky first turn. Critical turn in the pocket for the second move, and now looking for a big finish here on the inside. And just plugs the end section. And that feels good. Those three big moves, not having to do a lot of work in between. He is really looking sharp on that board too at the moment, Ross.
I can't wait to watch the replay. That was extremely efficient. Some of the best surfing we've seen this morning. You know, with this wind, it's so strong and it's pushing offshore. It's very, very easy to get hung up. And when I say hung up, I mean the wind can push your board and kind of really stop you and halt your momentum going down the line. But you can see every time Julian pushes on his fins and his rails, he's going places. He's not trying to get back into it. There was not one pause or break in action. Very seamless. So watch as he gets in that inside rail. This is where he's going to project and get that drive that we're talking about. Beautiful style, super low to the board. And now it's the same thing off the top. He doesn't get hung up. There's no trying to re-engage with speed. It's just very clean. So he was able to finish that wrap. Right back to the bottom again. Just one little weave right here, trying to get the fins back engaged, get that drive back to his beautiful low bottom turn. And this is an even better turn, actually cracking the lip. And he was able to get away with that off the lip because he had so much speed. Didn't he, Ronnie? So like if he didn't have enough speed, he would have kind of had to hop back into it, maybe, you know, fake it. But he had that natural projection and momentum going down the line.
His fins, the water coming off his fins, it's like a gurney. I'll have to get him round to clean the driveway. He just sends so much water off the rail of his board in those bottom turns. You could see how low he was getting to and had his hand just planted on the face of the wave to pivot around the hand. Have a close look at it here. Just drive straight up into the lip.
So again, with this wind, it's hard to surf out there straight up. You know, it's pushing against your board. It's pushing against your body. So there's resistance for you going down the line and getting back down the curve of the face. So the fact that he did what he wanted to on that wave, that was amazing surfing.
And the judges lapped it up. There's the number, an 8.57. Julian Wilson moving way further ahead of Miguel Pupo now. Thank you, Pete. Here goes Miguel, trying to get himself out of trouble here. Needs to turn in a pretty decent number to break combination. Isn't going to do it with that ride, and Julian is going to get an opportunity to extend. Everything's going his way at the moment, but he's going to kick out of this one. It's going to shut down.
Tanked in this heat, but he's up against it.
Here's a recap of what's unfolded so far. Miguel hasn't been able to better a 4.93 at this stage.
Yeah, no, I actually don't mind what I'm seeing from Miguel either. I don't see, like, you know, sometimes we'll pick up right away if someone's losing, oh, their board doesn't look good or they're making mistakes. But for Miguel, he's starting with really nice clean snaps, but not finishing it off. He needs just those one or two extra moves. This is what kind of got Julian started, wasn't it? 6.43, that's where he started finding his mojo. And then he started leaning his cheek to the wall of the wave, Ronnie, with those low bottom turns. You know, it really was one of the more impressive waves I've seen in this event. Even though it wasn't the most crazy X-Factor type of surfing, it was extremely efficient.
Julian starting to feel the confidence, expecting a big finish with just under 5 minutes to go.
But there's also not one location that's really not his spot either. He's a very well-rounded surfer, but he's the kind of guy that's going to trickle results in.
Well, he is maybe getting his push for the lead happening at the perfect time. He's going to leave himself some time to chase down a score in the end, but he still needs more out of this ride. He stamps that floater. He just needs to something better than a 5 to break the combination. Julian Wilson looking to extend here. Just digging in, and Julian's going to kick out.
It keeps you, you know, just sharp. You're not going to let someone crawl back in. Just taking care of business. As we see Julian, there's that really cool bottom turn. He's just getting a lot of drive, carrying a lot of speed into those carves, which is a big deal today with this offshore wind. And a nice torqued out snap to finish. And to boot, he's going to regain priority. Miguel on his backhand, you know, if he was going to expose or get some kind of an advantage over Julian today, he was going to have to go for those Ace Buchan-esque style turns where just he would have needed a really tight big hook in the pocket, but he's been choosing to do those arcs on the shoulder, so maybe the wrong choice of move.
In a big way, it's going to be hard to stop in this contest. 2 minutes remaining, 4.87 for Miguel on his last ride. Julian puts away an 8.33, and it looks like Julian's going to shut this heat out, Ross. A two-wave total of 16.91 required from the young Brazilian.
But for Julian, what I like about his surfing and what makes him relevant to get back into the title hunt is he's well-rounded. You know, he's going to be good for the rest of the year at all the locations.
Here goes Miguel once again. Just loses his front foot at the end of that ride. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. And it's going to be a tough fight back to get to the top end of the ratings for Miguel, as Julian just enjoys this beautiful right. The wave flattening out a little bit. Julian just having some fun with it, throwing an air, doesn't quite ride out. You can see how strong that wind is. His board just whipped away from under his feet. Well, heat 1 around 4. It is set up to be an all-Aussie showstopper. Matt Wilkinson up against Joel Parkinson.